Hey, morning! I'm looking for a copper mine. So it's quite an old mine. It started in the 18th century. And well, I say I'm looking, I know exactly where it is. It's in a very, very steep hill over there. And yeah, it's actually the second time I'm here. Last time I was here with a friend, I tried filming, but I sort of got a bit distracted and didn't quite make a movie, so I'm back. And yeah, I love this mine because it has a very special feature, sort of scary, sort of interesting, and it's quite an old mine as well. And I'll show you the sort of the lay of the land once we're there. And straight away there it is in all this glory. Can you see how steep the slope is? So there were 3 levels. The bottom one has run in, but the second and third one, where am I showing? Second and third, they are still open. So we just need to climb up the steep slope. The sheep don't mind the steep slopes. They're very quiet today, just lounging this morning. Oh, who doesn't like a steep climb? I sure do. But we are getting closer, and there's actually a mine processing building probably there. Can't think of anything else that would have been there, unless it's some kind of a farm sheep enclosure from the olden days. But if you think how difficult it would have been to transport the ore down to the old road, down there underneath, yeah, I would imagine they had some ore bins that they just probably would have been dumping stuff down, unless the tramway continued into sort of down the road. But I couldn't see any remains of any tracks outside of the mine. Or potentially they just had donkeys. Donkeys were the way when nothing else would work. The donkeys would still manage. But yeah, so the first spoil heap is just down there, so we're not far away at all now. These huts, these stone buildings have been reduced to rubble pretty much, but they would have been substantial structures. When you look at some of the size of some of those pieces, they would have been heavy. And of course all the material, you know, all the stone is available locally, so it's pretty much just lying about, so there's no shortage of it. The first spoil heap, very steep. I'm gonna have to be careful not to slide down. Steep little one. Ooh. And at the top of it, that's where the first adit should be. That's the deep adit. But only that it's been subsumed by the rubble of the second spoil heap. So we can't enter that one anymore. There's signs of some kind of an area, whether there was a shack for the miners, or explosives magazine. A little bit too close to the mine itself though. But yeah, that means that we need to climb another spoil heap to actually get into the mine. There we are. Came from down there all the way up. And ta-da! There's the adit. And it's interesting how, again, just by the adit entrance, there's another one of these sheds. Again, probably for the miners to just sort of, I don't know, get changed or whatever they would do back in the day. They probably wouldn't get changed, to be fair. That would be a luxury. But yeah, exactly the same sort of thing. And we're gonna have a look inside the adit. So that's the adit number 2. It's the middle adit. Yeah, the rock seems to be really brittle in places around here. I wonder whether that was to do with all the collapses. Yeah. Right. Oh dear, there's a dead sheep straight away. Oh, you just can't get away from that. little alcove. Ooh. Yeah, wow. All right, let's see. Okay. Yeah, so it's quite wet in straight away. There's this precarious stemple which really must be careful not to take down with me. Little tight squeeze. Yeah, there's a good amount of water coming down. Oh, it's not even over wellies.
That's pretty good, that bag though. It's a dry bag ultimately, is it?
Yeah, it's a Lomo.
So what?
Lomo? Oh my god, oh, this is amazing!
Oh shit.
Oh.
I'm not walking across that fucking rail.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh my god! Oh, Jesus! Wow! What? What do we do now?
No, probably not.
Let's see what it's like. Because this is, oh my god, this is deep, isn't it?
See what?
This is deep. Yeah.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Wow. And the rail goes like that.
I'm not convinced I want to walk across that, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. It's the rail of death. Oh. It's a bit of a pain, but the rail is actually quite firm. And you can, if you're very careful, if you're not too heavy, you can get over it. See that? Yeah. Because it's perfect.
But I'm a lot heavier than you.
No.
I really am.
Just a pound or two.
That's not bad at all, actually.
But do you see, there's like a tiny little level that goes in there as well.
That was an awful lot easier to get across than I thought.
Oh. Oh, it's just a tiny little alcove. Okay.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, so they must have taken quite a bit of copper from up there if they were stoping it out. I wonder whether they even took the copper out, and that's why the rails collapsed. I mean, it would have been some kind of supports, timber back in the day, so it wasn't accidental probably. Yeah, there's a big timber just there actually, and if we look down, there seems to be a false floor there, so there must have been a ladder and some kind of timbering false floors running across. Or would they just slide the carts up in the air? No, I don't think so. But yeah, what's in there, that little chamber? So yeah, so even though they're quite old, these workings, clearly all this had already been done when they had the explosives. So it's believed to be an 18th century mine, but clearly all that has good shot holes. It's not hand-picked by any means. And this is just a little, almost like a little trial sort of alcove in here. Doesn't look like there was a good vein here. But yeah, the rail carries on. Beautiful, loads of water running down. I quite like this. Now here, if you you walk past, but this thing reminds me that there is something up above there. So in there is actually a hole in the wall, in the ceiling there, and there's another little stope up there. It's just difficult to climb into, unfortunately. What's in that little hole? Yeah. I think it's just a stope. And on the other side, I could climb in there, I could see what's inside there, but it's a really awkward, tiny sort of small hole that you would have to kind of pull yourself up and climb in there. It's actually a lot more difficult than it seems. Yeah, I'll try and show you. You can see that in there. Yeah. Well, the water's draining nicely. However, this is where the middle adit collapses, and we can see, you know, there's still timbers and that coming through. Just the material's really loose. There's still a little bit there we could probably squeeze in. Yeah, so there's timbering there. Maybe they were trying to support it, but the whole thing just came down. Chamber here, and again, this is where it collapses. There's a stope. This is a complete collapse, but there's some nice copper. So you see there's some evidence of this actually being a copper mine, at least. This doesn't go anywhere. But there's a little stope in there. And in there's a beautiful yellow pool. Ooh, it's almost as yellow like as my wellies. But oh my god, so it's probably sulfur. There's still a shot hole there in the wall. But yeah, all this growth, I'm not going to disturb it because as soon as I do, it's just going to cloudy up. But wow, and all this blue copper running down, and the orange, there's probably iron. But yeah, it's a bit too yellow for it just to be ochre, so I wonder whether it was quite sulphurous in here. Yeah, I love the blue runoff. Okay, out of that one, and back out through there. Yeah, you often see a lot more when you go back. You see what you didn't see before, and this chamber opens up really nicely. So I think what they were doing, you know, the adit wouldn't be so tall. And this was very common for the earlier workings, where they would drive the vein, they would drive the level along the vein. So literally the adit, the level was the vein, and they would just follow it, take it all out, and just follow its course, like in this case, through there. But yeah, all this, and you can see how much mineralization, there's iron running down the walls, and all that would have been taken out. It's really nice. Okay, well, and it's really good because even though it's wet, because of that, everything just drains down. So actually, it's quite a nice one. That feature is helpful. The broken rail. Although the deep adit, it must be completely flooded because of that. If it's completely blocked and gets a lot of water coming through. I've just noticed as well, there's that upper level there, and that's probably where that hole in the ceiling, that's where it goes. Yeah, so there's just probably a little ledge there where they were taking out a bit more ore, but left that bridge over there. Yeah, it's a really unique feature. I'm not sure I know any other mines with suspended rails in North Wales, actually. Yeah, so we're not going to be going through there, we're going to be going through the normal way. Yeah, whatever you do, do not step into the dead sheep carcass. Oh, yuck. As far away from it as possible. Ah, it's nice and warm outside. So that was level 2. And let's check out what level 3 can offer. Just the hole in the ground, and this just connects with the level that we saw. And there's adit 3 up above. Yeah, so very steep, but other than that, quite dry. And this is level 3. Whew. Tiny, tiny gap. And some strange big falls. Let's see if we can get through. So this boulder, this huge boulder here, seems to have collapsed and blocked the entry, although the entry of the level just goes here, so it's almost like worked as a sort of like an open cut, like an open stope type thing. Again, older workings, not unusual, and they had to lug all that all down the hill anyway, so it's not like you had some nice system of tramways. Oh yeah, lots of mineralization, almost vertical, the way the load runs, and then the roof has been carved out. Right, let's see. Oof. There's all sorts in here. Oh, okay, it then goes down again. Oh, it's really, really wet. Right, it goes down and wow, look at these chains. And down and down. Ooh, to a massive shaft. Oh my God, that is just enormous. So that will go down to the lowest level, to the level 2, and then level probably to the deep adit via the level 2 where we saw. So it probably just goes down to the middle adit. But my God, the thing is, so there was this the size of this chain, so that still holds on to onto the stemple. So the stemple is also eroding slowly. That chain is going to go any time. There really is nothing to abseil from, because you couldn't look at the state of those timbers there. Oh my God, that timber there, I mean, it's mouldy. God knows what's going on with it. So all that's going to come down, all that material stacked up there is going to come down soon. But yeah, I just love the size of this chain. It's just unbelievably. I think I'll try and show you the scale. There's my torch there. I mean, it's huge. Yeah, there's the hooks. So it looks like they were actually using the stemples as a support for the chain, and probably they were lifting the lifting the kibbles out from the shaft. I don't know if there was any pumping here. I don't think there was, but I might be wrong. I think it was all just draining down through the deep adit, so they were just using this, or potentially they were even just using these the supports, the timbers, just to work off. So probably the entire shaft was, again, that's where the vein went. So they were using it just to be able to mine out the ore. Yeah, possible. And it sort of goes a bit further down there as well. And then that level carries on there, but really you wouldn't want to climb this here. And it only looks like it only carries on for a tiny bit. I might be wrong though, yeah, it might be carrying on quite a bit more. I'd need to look at some old plans. Yeah. So, there were considerable workings if you sort of add up the deep adit, the middle adit, and this one. It was probably quite rich in copper. If indeed all of this was copper-rich material. The spoil heaps are pretty substantial. But yeah, I can see why this operation didn't continue, even if there's more copper inside, purely because it's just so difficult to get down the hill. It's so inconvenient, and it's often the case in Snowdonia with the mines, copper mines in particular. Somehow copper seems to just run in these crazy loads. Sometimes it just drops down, straight down vertically. Well, so that was a copper mine high up in the hills of Snowdon with a rail of death. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, and if you want to see more adventures and more mines, then please do subscribe and let me know what you think, and I'll catch up with you soon on another adventure. Bye for now. Bye.